One of the most common and harmful misconceptions about Islam is the idea that it promotes terrorism. We've all heard it, right? This belief largely comes from the actions of extremist groups that twist and distort Islamic teachings for their own agendas. Unfortunately, their actions dominate the headlines, leaving the true message of Islam buried under layers of misunderstanding. The Quran clearly states in Surah Al-Ma'idah 5:32, "Whoever kills a soul, unless for a soul or for corruption, done in the land, it is as if he had slain mankind entirely, and whoever saves one, it is as if he had saved mankind entirely." This verse emphasizes the sanctity of human life and the importance of compassion. Additionally, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "The best among you are those who have the best manners and character." Islam promotes peace, kindness, and mutual respect among all people. Scholars and leaders within the Muslim community continuously work to educate others about the true teachings of Islam. It's crucial to differentiate between the actions of a few and the beliefs of an entire faith. By understanding and spreading the true message of Islam, we can combat these misconceptions and promote a more peaceful world. Let's set the record straight. Islam does not promote terrorism. In fact, it condemns violence, terrorism, and the killing of innocent people. The Quran emphasizes the sanctity of life in a powerful verse. "Whoever kills a person unjustly, it is as if he had slain mankind entirely. And whoever saves one, it is as if he had saved mankind entirely." Quran 5:32. That's about as clear as it gets. Taking an innocent life is one of the gravest sins in Islam, while saving a life is seen as an act of immense goodness. At its heart, Islam is about peace. Even the word Islam comes from salam, which means peace. It's a faith that revolves around compassion, mercy, and justice. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, spent his life promoting these values. He constantly preached peace and reconciliation, even in times of conflict. He gave clear instructions to his followers during war. Do not kill women, children, or the elderly. Do not destroy places of worship. Sunan Abu Dawud. It's also worth mentioning that in many cases where Muslims were allowed to defend themselves, they were still encouraged to seek peaceful solutions first. Violence was always the last resort. Jihad, probably one of the most misunderstood concepts out there. For many people, this word conjures up images of conflict and violence. But the real meaning of jihad is far from that. It literally means struggle, and not the kind of struggle you might think. The most important form of jihad is the inner struggle to become a better person. It's about resisting selfish desires, doing what's right, and striving to improve yourself and your community. Here are a few examples of different types of jihad of the self. Fighting your own bad habits and temptations, jihad of the pen. Speaking out for justice and using knowledge to help others, jihad of defense. This is the one people often confuse. It refers to defending yourself and others when under attack, but it's heavily restricted and only allowed under very specific conditions. What it doesn't mean is unprovoked violence or aggression. Period. If you want to see what Islam's true values look like, just look at how the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, treated his enemies. After years of persecution, he and his followers returned to Mecca, where many feared he would seek revenge, but instead of punishment, he offered forgiveness and said, "Go, for you are free." That act of mercy and kindness became a defining moment in Islamic history and is still remembered as an example of how we should treat others, even those who have wronged us. Here's the thing. Extremist groups do not represent Islam. These groups cherry-pick verses from the Quran, rip them out of context, and use them to justify their political agendas. They betray the very principles they claim to follow. The overwhelming majority of Muslims around the world condemn these actions and live peaceful lives guided by values of kindness and respect. It's kind of like blaming all Christians for the actions of the Ku Klux Klan or assuming that every Buddhist is violent because of a small extremist group. It doesn't make sense, right? Peace and justice are at the core of Islam. Jihad is primarily about self-improvement and doing what's right, not violence. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was a peacemaker and prioritized peaceful solutions whenever possible. Extremists do not represent Islam, period. Unfortunately, fear sells. Extremists make headlines, and sensationalist stories stick in people's minds. But the truth is rarely that dramatic. The real message of Islam is one of peace, compassion, and the pursuit of justice, not aggression or terrorism. We all have a role to play in breaking down harmful stereotypes. Take the time to learn about different cultures and beliefs. Ask questions. Engage in conversations with people from different backgrounds. When you hear misinformation, speak up. You'd be surprised how much a little truth can change someone's perspective. Want to go deeper? Here are a few resources to help you learn more. The Quran, with commentary, for a full understanding of the verses in context. The life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, discover how his actions reflected peace and mercy. Books on Islam and peace-building. Titles like The Road to Mecca by Muhammad Asad or Islam. A Short History by Karen Armstrong offer insightful perspectives. Connect with local Muslim communities. Attend open mosque days, cultural events, or interfaith gatherings to meet Muslims in your area. Understanding starts with small steps. Let's commit to learning from each other and building a world that's more connected, compassionate, and informed.